Hi there and welcome to our GTV preview show for the race meeting on the Vaal Classic track, Thursday the 25th of July. The first race off at 12:25. It's a maiden handicap over 1,450 metres. The early scratching is number 1, Xanthar, who's now a winner and thus ineligible. As always for Highveld race meetings, we say hi to Alistair Cohen.
Hi Graham, hello to all the listeners as well. Rare doubleheader on a Thursday, obviously weather permitting, in the Western Cape. You know, this Vaal card is one of those half stakes meetings, so punters might need to tread a little bit warily when going through the card. I think there are one or two standouts, as you would expect. There are also a few races that are real head scratchers, but you know, overall, since the winter started and the operator put on the half stakes meetings for horses of a lower quality, I think of the 4 meetings we've had, 3 of them the pick 6 paid less than $5,000, and one of them was a carryover. So the law of averages, that might sort of balance out as time goes on, but I think the trust might be there from the punters, maybe just to look at this with an extra sort of inch in the eyes, and maybe anticipate that form might work out more often than not these days.
Well, let's have a look firstly at the anti-post market. Number 2, Force de Dieu, is at 8-1. The odds-on favourite is number 3, Final Try, at 7-10. 4, Highveld Storm, the market rival, at 33-10. Number 5, Red Legend, at 9-2. Quite a few equipment changes here. As you know by now, we record the day before the race meeting, and the early changes are that number 4, Highveld Storm, firstly gets blinkers for the first time in his career, also gets a compression mask, also gets a Cornell collar, so they're throwing the kitchen sink at number 4, Highveld Storm. 6, Chieftain Shield, races without the blinkers. Number 7, Pursuit of Fame, Alamite in front, Unshod behind, also gets blinkers and a tongue tie. Now this is the first leg of the bipot, Alistair, which is not your suggested bet. You've gone with the place accumulator, but the obvious question is, does number 3, Final Try, priced up at 7-10, shape up as a potential bipot banker for those who wish to play this exotic?
The answer to that, Graham, is yes. I think that he does. I think that he brings very good form lines. Don't bring the argument that he's a 2-year-old into the picture because he turns 3 a week later, and we've seen enough 2-year-olds now when they're of sufficient quality able to beat the older opposition. This older opposition is particularly weak. There's obviously not much form to work with. When you look at the fact he was 7.5 lengths behind Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete's rated 109 runs at listed level on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Greyville. Ran against older opposition last time, stronger older opposition last time, and coming back from a gelding and also coming back from a break. Ran 3 lengths to Rosora Finale. Ran okay in his post-maiden run, but I think he'd ordinarily be a better horse than anything that Final Try runs with today. Gavin Arena's on board for Johan Janssen van Vuren. They've had a good solid season. I think everything points to him with 57.5 kilos on his back. If you are looking for an alternative, the other 2-year-old, number 5, Red Legend, could figure into calculations. He seems to be getting better with each and every start. I don't know whether 2 kilograms is enough for him to be dangerous enough or to beat number 3, Final Try. So for that reason, I think Final Try is a bipot banker. I think 7-10 is a realistic price about a horse that I think will win.
So there we go, Final Try to get bipot fans off to a bumper start. Race 2 on the card, the first leg of the place accumulators, another maiden handicap. It's for fillies and mares over 1,450 metres. The race goes at 1 o'clock. Number 1, Silky Jet, is at 15-2. Number 2, Together Again, at 7-2. Number 3, Bacardi Babe, is an early scratching. Again, we have an odds-on favourite. Again, it's a Gavin Arena, Johan Janssen van Vuren combination. Number 5, Far Reaching, at 9-10. 7, Ruler of Justice, 15-2. 8, Sensoria, also a winner recently, ineligible, is a scratching. So Alistair's chosen bet for today is a place accumulator, and starting off with the banker of number 5, Far Reaching. Again, not easy to beat this 2-year-old daughter of Vercingetorix.
Yeah, I think that the stable jockey owner double is on here, Graham. As you mentioned, Audra Vercingetorix, who brings, again, good form lines, feature race form lines, or with horses that have run at feature race level. Simply Majestic is a feature race winner, ran 6 lengths behind her last time out, when, to be fair, it looked like the yard was just keeping the race alive. So I think that run at that level will probably do her more good than harm. She's run to Kiwe's Destiny, who ran a grade 2 level on Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Likewise, Kindred Heart. There is absolutely really nothing in the form lines of anything else in this race that has tasted feature race level. The draw is a little bit of a worry, but she will come in. Well, she won't come in due to the scratchings, but I think the scratchings obviously help her cause a little bit with a smaller field. She seems like she's got enough pace to be able to bounce out and get into a handy position and not spend too much when they approach the turn. And I think that she'll win number 5, Far Reaching. In fact, dare I say she's probably a more juicy prospect of winning the race than the horse earlier, who I'm still very confident about, Final Try. If you are looking to play trifectas and quartets, I've got an inkling number 10, Perini Palace, could represent a bit of top 4 value. Brevin Plaikes takes 4 kilos off the back. Trends show in these maiden handicaps that horses that do come in with a light weight, with a little bit of assistance from an apprentice, can feature. Perini Palace is obviously not much to look at in terms of her numbers and her form. 16-start maiden. She's in a maiden handicap with a light weight for a reason. But that might aid her getting into the top 4 in a race as shallow as this. Obviously, Together Again should be somewhere in the money as well. That's just what she does. But I think number 5, Far Reaching, will win the race. And a bar pot and PA Banker. But just for those that are going a little bit wider, consider number 10, Perini Palace, as a horse just to boost those dividends.
So there we go. That's race 2 as we move ahead to the third race, which is the opening leg of the Pick 6. It's a maiden plate over 2,400 metres. I've got a little smile in my voice because here we are again. Here we are again with number 1, Tax Haven at 7-10. Number 2, Rastignac at 15-4. Now, number 3, Man's Night, ran on Tuesday. May or may not take up his engagement here 48 hours later. Number 3, Man's Night. He was placed on Tuesday. That's at 15-4. Those are the only 3 runners quoted in single figures. So, Tax Haven at 7-10. Are you all in, boots and all, this time?
I can't do it, Graham. Despite the fact that he's run 3 lengths off at grade 1 level, despite the fact that he ran in the DSTV Gold Vase and he was able to beat a horse home as a maiden, obviously his rating that he was given for running where he did in the South African Derby was a total chance taken by the handicapper, but that's what he ran to, so it was probably worth propping him up and then dropping him, which they have done now to a more realistic level of a 74. I can't do it, Graham. He's had every opportunity in the past. He's failed to do it, and at odds on, there's no way that I'm prepared to be disappointed again. If he won, good luck to them. He's obviously going to be in the Pick 6. He's obviously going to be in the place accumulator. But just for a horse that's not treated as followers with too many favours, I'm definitely, not that I've ever had a bet on Tax Haven before, that I can proudly say, but I think those that have will be a few times bitten, many times shy. So I think number 2, Rastignac, Stevie Donahue got stood down on Tuesday due to visa issues, so hopefully he's able to take up his engagements on Thursday. Rastignac ran last time like he's crying out for the distance. He actually moved up to a point and didn't quite go on with it. He looks like he's a little bit of a plodder, and I think that the long run and the extra distance just help his chances a little bit. I think he might have needed his last run as well, coming back from a 6-month layoff, and it wasn't a terrible effort. No, it wasn't a very strong race, but how much stronger is this race? I don't think it is any stronger at all. Penultimate start to Atarime. Atarime also ran in the South African Derby. Funny enough, ran behind Tax Haven, but he at least came out and won just the other day. So there's a little bit of confidence behind the form that he brings into the picture, and at least he's upwardly mobile, number 2, Rastignac. So I put both of them into the place accumulator. As a result, put both into the Pick 6. If Man's Night runs, and I have a funny feeling that he will run, he's not got his legs tied up either, the half-brother to Malmoose. He's obviously nowhere near as good as his half-brother Malmoose, who now stands at Richmond, but he'll get his day in the sun one of these days. I do prefer the 2 others, to be honest, numbers 1 and 2.
So 1 and 2 for Alistair, Tax Haven 7-10, Rastignac 15-4, and if Man's Night runs, it might just be as well to throw him into at least the first leg of the Pick 6. One thing in favour of number 1, Tax Haven, is the fact that Craig Zaki seems to get a good tune out of him. Has ridden him twice for his 2 seconds, but he won't be satisfied with another second here. So there we go. Tax Haven gets his chance to win a maiden, but Rastignac very much alive. Race 4, the first leg of Jackpot 1, is an MR66 handicap over 1,800 metres. Looks tricky. Now, you were chatting about Japanese Maple because that's who won the race that Rastignac ran fourth in. I see she's at quite big odds in race 4 in the first effort out the maidens. Number 3, Cerulean Dance is at 6-1. 4 5th of July is at 33-10. Number 10, Damova is at 5-1. Number 12, Have a Party, good second behind Avo and Toast last time. That's at 4-1. So the betting suggests it's a typical MR66 handicap. The average rating is 62, and you've gone pretty wide in this leg of the place accumulator.
Yeah, with no real direction, to be honest. I mean, just isolating numbers 1 and 2. I've got number 2, Caliburn, in my place accumulator, and left out number 1, Japanese Maple. Caliburn beat Japanese Maple. Japanese Maple has a swing at the weights, but I think Caliburn... Actually, I don't know how to read this race. Fani Broncos has got 3 runners in the race, and I think they've actually all got legitimate chances. And just looking at jockey arrangements, Danielson's on Caliburn, and Schwarz, who's doing a lot of riding for Fani, is on number 8, Flag Bearer. So I've used that as a little bit of a cue here for getting a bit of a hint. My top choice, though, is number 4, 4th of July. Winning doesn't come easy. Over 1,000 days since he last won. So to have a bet on the son of Wiley Hall, or to recommend a bet, would be pretty selfish of me. But Gavin Larena takes a ride on the source for the first time in a while. And when you look at his numbers and his form, it doesn't read too consistently, but there is a little bit of a clue here when it comes to number 4, 4th of July. When the grass turns brown, this is a totally different animal. You can probably see that since the winter came along, since his break ran 3rd, 2nd, 2nd. When the grass is green, sort of October, November time, he runs subpar races. He just seems to appreciate the harder going, the son of Wiley Hall, and maybe that's the reason why David just sort of switched him off for a few months while the grass was green, waited for winter to come along, because he's obviously a rising 8-year-old. He's had a bit of mileage on the clock, so probably just to preserve him for a bit longer, get perhaps an extra win or two under the belt, and it looks like he's coming to hand. He moves into the race like he's got a lot of running to come and just doesn't seem to get past those horses in front. So maybe the coaxing of Gavin Larena will just get him there. So I'm pretty keen on his chances without recommending a win bet on him, but he's an automatic inclusion into the play. I've mentioned number 2, Caliburn, but wherever Caliburn is, number 1, Japanese Maple, should be somewhere in the picture. 8, Flag Bearer, if he was drawn better, I'd be pretty keen about the son of Flying the Flag. When he's in the mood, he can be very dangerous. And then number 10 and 12, they also need a mention. Damova with 52 kilos on her back at a draw 1. Niven Nastili takes her out. That could be a bit of a masterstroke from Joey Soma with his daughter Flower Alley, who I must confess I'm losing a bit of patience with her. 999 days since she last won. She had a long break of 18 months between August 2022 and February 2024. I thought that her fitness was going to start working into her favor. It hasn't, so for that reason I'm a bit disappointed, but she might be in the right place at the right time now. And I've got number 12, Have a Party, in the play as well. Pila Sunday Oli for Paul Matchett. Better last run to Avo on Toast, who was trained by Joey Soma, who saddles Damova, so maybe just watch any market clues. Have a Party, another one that's frustrating to follow, but her recent form suggests that a win can't be too far away. 4 horses for me in the place accumulator, 2, 4, 10 and 12, but I've got time for number 8 in the pick 6, number 1 as well, also likely to go into my pick 6 if I play one.
Tough race 4. Just the other day, Joe Soma had 3 runners and 3 winners. He's got just 1 runner at this meeting, and that is number 10, Damova. So we move on to race 5, which is an interesting race. First of all, it's a fillies and mares 64 handicap over 1,600 metres, but it is a race for apprentices and young jockeys, and I do like that idea. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can just inform us. What is the definition of a young jockey? Is there an age limit in terms of how to qualify as a young jockey?
No, Graham, it's, well, pretty much, but the official direction taken by the South African Jockeys Academy, with Robert Moore obviously being the man at the helm up on the half-faults, is terms of qualification out of the academy. So I think that there are currently 12 apprentices on rotation. 3 of them aren't qualified to go around the turn. Hence, you've got Pilasande Moli in this race. So, sorry, 11 are permitted to go around the turn. Damien Pele Mbuto and there's one other in the last race who will have their only ride down the straight. But because Pilasande Moli is the next jockey out of the academy, sitting in the jockey room, he was the next one to fill up the numbers and so on. So I don't know who would be the one after Pila Sunday, but that's the idea. So it's in terms of graduating from the South African Jockey Academy, that you are considered a young jockey in this case.
Well, it's a tough race nonetheless, and number 2, Linger No More, is at 7-2, 4, Feeling Groovy at 9-2, 7, Count Your Chances at 9-2, 8, Memorial Day, who races with the Cornell collar, is at 7-1, 9, Bushveld is at 4-1. The average rating here is 58. You've gone with 3 horses in the place accumulator. Tell us more about race 5, which is also the first leg of Jackpot 2.
Graham, I'm having a bet. I'm having a big place bet on a horse here that I don't think would be anywhere near the top of the boards. Number 6, Leonessa, ridden by Pila Sunday Oli, the only non-apprentice in this race. Drawn to big thing. Second run after a bit of a stop-start to 2024. Had a lot of racing during last year, was laid off for 3 months, needed the run, ran disappointingly, came back 2 months later, ran disappointingly, but last time there were sufficient signs of life and making up a lot of ground from near the back of the field when trying tongue tie and blinkers for the first time. Ratings come down even further, come down another £5. She was once an 83, so nearly the highest achiever in the race. Linger No More was once an 86, so she was the official highest achiever, but Leonessa not far behind. She's now down to a 60. Fitness going to be on her side, draw on her side, most experienced jockey on her side. I might have a small win bet, but I'm definitely going to have a big place bet on number 6, Leonessa. I'm making a strong case for her being in the top 3. 7, Count Your Chances on a line through green bubbles, likely to be somewhere around number 6, Leonessa. In fact, likely to be in front of Leonessa, but I have an inkling that number 6 will get very close, if not closer, hopefully in front. But 7, Count Your Chances, very much in the play. And number 9, Bushveld. I quite like what I've seen from JC Boertes, although he hasn't had a winner, and although occasionally he tends to be a little bit deep at Hollywoodbets Greyville, I think he's got a very nice seat, and I think with a little bit of refining from the guys at the academy, and as we know, Warren Kennedy, champion jockey now of New Zealand this season, the legendary academy story continues, so they can make jockeys out of anybody, and I think with a little bit of refining, JC Boertes soon is going to be well worth his 4-kilo claim, and I don't think that's too far away. Bushveld strikes a chord with me, also running solid enough races to be dangerous in a race as shallow as this, and I've got her in my place accumulator as well.
So Leonessa, the one to watch out for in race 5 as we move ahead to race 6, the MR66 handicap, 1,450 metres, first leg of the final pick 3. It goes at 15.20. And here's the betting. Number 3, Kalida, is at 7-1. 6, Southern Style is at 7-2. 8, Oh My Gucci Girl is at 8-1. 9, Risky Business, marginal favourite at 3-1. 11, Written in Stone at 5-1. Another mystery to unravel, race 6, Alistair.
Lots in here with chances, Graham. I think the most solid proposition as far as the PA and top 3 prospects are concerned is probably number 6, Southern Style, because those are just the races that she runs. She's probably an underachiever, being a one-time winner from 36 starts, but you can tell that her recent runs put her pretty much in the picture. If the Green Bubbles form works out a race earlier, that'll not only enhance the chances of Green Bubbles, who runs in race number 7, but probably give a little bit of gloss to the chances of number 6, Southern Style. She's a very much a hold-up type of horse. If you set her out too early, she'll move in with a lot in hand, but her running is not very sustaining. She doesn't seem to last very long, so when Diego de Gavea feels like he's got something beneath him, he's probably just got to sit tight a little bit longer and count to 5 while the others are at it. But I think if everything goes according to plan, she's bound to be bang there. But if you're looking for alternatives, the list of alternatives is plentiful. I think number 10, Time to Shine, is pretty much in the right place to run into the top 4 here. Another rating dropper. Time to Shine once ran in the BSA sales race on Hollywoodbets Durbanville behind Mover and Shaker, where he earned his rating of 90. He's down now to a 56. It probably doesn't look like he's hinting that he's going to turn around sort of 8 and 9 length deficits to suddenly winning a race, but I think he might sort of get to within 3 lengths, and if you believe that 3 lengths is going to put him in the first 4, which I think it probably will, then number 10, Time to Shine, could represent a bit of top 3 value here, the son of Pomodoro. Brett Warren is the trainer. Nathan Klink takes a ride. They teamed up for a big price winner at Turfentine about 10 days earlier, so he's my alternative in the place accumulator. If you're going with a pick 6, you'll need number 3, Kalida. You'll need number 4, Gimme the Flame. You'll need number 8, Omaguchi Girl. And you'd need number 9, Risky Business. Probably number 11, Written in Stone as well, even though I think when he wins again, and it's been a long time since he last won, I think when he wins again, it's more likely to come on the inside track than the Vaal Classic track. That's how I've always felt about him. But if you want to put him in, maybe this is the right time to take advantage of him.
Written in Stone, last win was 1,412 days ago, but to coin a phrase and to relate another horse in the race, maybe it's Written in Stone's time to shine. The 7th race, the Fillies and Mares 64 handicap over 1,200 metres, the penultimate race, the first leg of the final double. Now, Alistair, I didn't ever think I would see Dancing Dora quoted as an 11-10 favourite in the anti-post market. Yes, she's won 5 races. She's a decent filly in her own right. But never thought I'd see the day that she emerged as a favourite at 11-10. But here we are with number 1, Green Bubbles at 3-1, 5, Red Carpet Girl at 3-1, 10-1, and Better Bar the top 3. Is Dancing Dora, number 4 in the card, the Mount of Gavin Arena, an 11-10 chance, despite the fact that it is a modest lineup?
When you put it like that, the answer is never in a million years. But I think that this, as you say, modest lineup is probably where she's going to become a 6-time winner. I make it an absolute 2-horse race. I think for place accumulator purposes, you could bank at either number 1, Green Bubbles, or 4, Dancing Dora. The reason why I've just taken a step towards Dancing Dora is because Green Bubbles has drawn 8 out of 8. I know her running style probably allow her to drop in and do her best work at the finish. But I think Dancing Dora might just take advantage of being 2 lanes closer to the pace, and probably by virtue of Green Bubbles' running style being 2 lanes closer to the leader turning for home, and that might be the advantage that she needs. I'd just recommend a boxed exacta here. 1 and 4, Green Bubbles and Dancing Dora. I don't see too much else getting into the mix. I mean, these bottom weights who I'll always look at closely on race meetings like this just don't inspire any confidence, and the form and the numbers and the consistency at the moment that Dancing Dora brings into the picture just outshines them all. So short and sweet, very tricky race. 11-10 Dancing Dora, as you said, a sentence that probably should never be uttered, but here we are, and it makes a bit of sense in a race like this.
Well, certainly in Dancing Dora's favour, given that she's had 42 previous starts. She has won 5. She's a decent filly. I wouldn't have minded owning her. I wouldn't mind owning her. Interesting that of those 42 starts, she's only had 1 previous start over this track and trip, and that produced a victory. She's 604 days without a win, whereas Green Bubbles won just 28 days ago. But this race does look a pretty easy target for number 4, Dancing Dora, with 1, Green Bubbles, the principal threat. And so to the 8th and final race, which is off at 16:35. And again, it's for apprentices and young jockeys. It's an MR66 handicap over 1,000 metres. Number 1, Prize Platinum, gets the earmuffs. Number 2, Commander of All, is at 9-2. Number 3, The Navy Lark, is at 15-4. 4, Captain Efficient, 7-1. 5, Life Goes On, 4-1. There's a form update. Ran the other day, finished 7th, just under 6 lengths behind Pendragon. Number 6, Inner Fix, at 6-1, gets the Cornell collar. And number 7, Dark Tide, is at 6-1. So even though the race is billed as being for apprentices and young jockeys, Alistair, they are indeed all apprentices. How are you going in this? How are you playing this race?
Uneasy about this race. I've got 3 horses here. Damien Pillay rides number 7, Dark Tide, and viewers of the show are going to know that I'm always on Dark Tide's side, and they're probably going to go, oh no, not again. I'd always hesitate to say this is the last chance I'm giving number 7, Dark Tide, but I'm not far away from that position. But I think the 4 kilo claim, look, he was bound to get a 4 kilo claimer because this is for apprentices and young jockeys, but I think the 4 kilo claim and just keeping him in a straight line with an outside draw on the Vaal Classic track, that this could be his day. number 7, Dark Tide. I went from last time behind Della's Sword. He ran 6 lengths behind. I was disappointed with the run, but they were valid excuses. He's been kept on the boil for a long time. He takes his racing well. He runs his races time and time again. And despite not being very confident, and I don't think anyone can ever be confident about the chances of Dark Tide because that's just the profile and the position that he's in, a rising 8-year-old who's, like I said, had a lot of mileage on the clock. I think that he might have found the right race at the right time with the 4-kilo claim for him to be quite dangerous here. So I'll be shouting for number 7, Dark Tide, and potentially having an each-way play on him. But back up in the place accumulator comes on the form number 3, the Navy Lark, and 5, Life Goes On. Life Goes On, probably the most reliable horse in the race. Sianda Sosibo takes the ride. He's a fit horse. He ran on the weekend, as you mentioned, with that form update at Turfentine. He's take away a couple of runs there and thereabouts. That's generally what he does. He'll be throwing his weight around at the end. And number 3, the Navy Lark, has actually done okay since winning a maiden. He won a weak maiden under Chamo Mbabaya, but he's held his form to a reasonable level, and the run to Fennec Fox on the 13th of June looks very favourable against number 5, Life Goes On, who's obviously looked at favourably by bookmakers. So I think number 3, the Navy Lark, has also got a legitimate chance in a very trappy finale to this Vaal card, which is, as we've gone through, a very, very open card as well.
So we've referred to your place accumulator throughout the program as we went through them race by race. But just to put a lid on the show, let's wrap it up with the summation of your place accumulator, which is coming on screen. Take us through it, Alistair.
I think, to be fair, this is the right exotic to play. Whatever your exotic of choice is, whether you're a pick 6 player, jackpot player, or bar pot player, don't deviate from your tried and tested exotic that has treated you well, and whatever formulas and whatever clues you use during the card. But I think that the place accumulator on a card like this is worth a try regardless. So Banker 5, 1 o'clock a starting point, race 2, Banker 5 far reaching, by 1 and 2 Taxhaven and Rastignac, by 2 Caliburn, 4 4th of July, Tender Mover, and 12 Have a Party. Then race 5, which is leg 4, gone 6 Leonessa, who I'm keen on to run the first 3, 7 Count Your Chances, and 9 Bushveld. The anti-penultimate leg on 6 Southern Style and 10 Time to Shine, by Banker number 4 Dancing Dora, and the final leg 3 runners, 3 Navy Lark, 5 Life Goes On, and 7 Dark Tide.
Well, that's a wrap for the preview show for the Vaal Classic meeting, Thursday the 25th of July. First of 8 races due for 12:25. Alistair, thanks very much. Have a really nice day, and thanks for joining us. Till next time, cheers.